This video is going to walk you through how to create circuits in Tinkercad. So you needed to make an account, so you can go ahead and sign into your account. If you haven't signed in, talk to your teacher about making your account. If you forgot your password, also check with your teacher. That's why we recorded their information, okay? So Tinkercad is actually an Autodesk Inventor program. It's a way that you can do 3D modeling. If you want to play around on your own time or at the end of class, you can. We're actually going to be using the circuits section. So go ahead and click on circuits, and we're going to create a new circuit. So what this is really great for is that this is really lined up with Arduino. We already start to see some of the parts, the breadboard, the microcontroller, LEDs, and when you want to pick something, and I'll go ahead and I'll come back to that in a minute, you just drag it over to the workspace. But before we start, I just want to give you a quick tour. If you drag something over that you don't want, you can delete it. You can undo or redo things. You can check the code out, start simulations. Even if you don't know what some of these things are, you can click on this menu and it will actually give you a little description of what everything is. If you're unsure, you can search for more advanced parts. Right now, we're going to stick just in the basic components for what we're doing. So the first one that we're going to build is actually Circuit 5 in your book. You're going to have to build this in Tinkercad today. So I'm using the book, the diagram in the book to build this. So if you're wondering where I'm getting my directions from, I have a book open right now. So the first thing we'll do is we will drag over a microcontroller and it will place it there. Boxes will pop up when you first drag things over so you can rename them. Sometimes it'll let you adjust some of the settings, things like that. We're only going to be using one microcontroller, so we really don't need to name this one. We're also going to go ahead and bring over our breadboard. And again, it's just a drag and drop kind of feature. You can move it around where you need it to be. Again, if I don't like where it is, I can delete it. I can bring over another one. So you can move it anywhere that you want it to be. Now they're kind of linked together. So move things around. You have a lot of flexibility, which is kind of cool. So if you're not choosing one of the options over here, it automatically allows you to start setting up wires. So the first wires that I want to set up are getting power over to the breadboard. So I'm going to click on ground and I'm going to click on the negative terminal. When I do that, it does allow me to pick which color I want the wire to be. It does help you keep the wires a little bit more clear. Because this is the ground wire, I'm going to make it black. And then I want to bring over the voltage. So I will bring that over and I will make this red. So now I've given power to these power rails. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my LED. LED's up here. So the LED does give you the cathode and the anode. The cathode is your negative and the anode is your positive. So I'm going to go ahead and use a resistor right here. And I know I'm going to need to hook that up to the negative terminal. Again, I'm the negative power rail. Again, I'm using the diagram in front of me. So I'll click and it will put that there. According to my schematic, it also wants me to run a wire over to pin 13. And because this wire is pink in the book, I'm actually going to go ahead and make it pink just so it's a little bit easier for me to see. One other note about the resistor is I can change the resistance of some of these things. Right now I'm just going to leave it like this and then we'll go back and look at it in just a moment. So now I want to go ahead and add my buttons. Again, the book is telling me where to place these things. You could name them different things, so I'll have button 1 and push button 2. These buttons are going to require some resistance. So I'm going to go ahead and bring over a resistor. And again, this whole row is lined up. So I'm going to go ahead and use that to help me transfer some power. So according to the book, I'm supposed to run this resistor over to the positive terminal. So I'll go ahead and drop this one here. Again, it's connected to the button because this whole terminal row is allowing that electricity to flow into the button. So it asks me to put another resistor for this button as well. So I'll do that. And then it wants me to run a wire to the digital pins 2 and 3 to make these programmable. So I'm going to go ahead and click right on this terminal and run this one over to 2. In the book, it's green, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it green. This one is orange, so I'm going to change it to orange just so it's a little bit easier for me to kind of run through. And then it wants me to run power over to the negative terminal, okay? So I'm also going to click this and I'll run a power line right there. And same thing with this one, we'll run it over to the negative. So the positive is bringing in that, connecting it to the positive rail, or the resistor is connected to the positive rail, and this wire is jumping over that electricity from the negative terminal, okay? So right now, we would be able to run a simulation. This is our first time working in Tinkercad, so for today, all we're going to ask you to do is build the actual circuit itself. You're not going to go ahead and code anything. Next week, we'll go ahead and talk more about how we're going to code it. But today, when you build this circuit, we want to see one person building it on the board, and we want to see another person building it in Tinkercad. Have fun!